All right, everybody, welcome back to the Friday Night Prepper Pre-Party Show. I am so glad to be back here with you this Friday night. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and get a few things started while we're waiting for those notifications to get out. First of all, I want to say thank you, everybody. Wow, a lot is going on in the world, and it's so hard right now to pick these topics for like what we're going to cover on the live stream. I've only got so much time that I can do this with you guys. So I decided this week I wanted to talk about Tilly Norwood, the new AI actress. Wow, some people in Hollywood are madder than a wet hen, and for good reason. Some of them are going to lose their jobs. They're going to be replaced. They are already in some ways obsolete. Why is this a threat for all of us, not just Hollywood starlets? Believe it or not, as I've told you before, AI, the biggest threat is not the Terminator. It's not that like the AI is going to determine that humans need to be eliminated. At least I don't think in the short term that's an issue. In the long term, maybe that eventually happens. In the short term, and I mean now, like very, very short term, AI is going to be replacing a lot of jobs, eventually almost all jobs. This is a huge problem, folks, and I'm glad to see that Hollywood has finally woken up to it because now it affects them. They didn't seem to care when 11,000 people were laid off from Microsoft earlier this year. Now all of a sudden they want to bring some attention to this. Hey, welcome to the party. We need your help. But we're going to talk about all that tonight. First, let's get a little word out to our sponsor. The sponsor for this video is, of course, AppMex. Folks, if you haven't been paying attention, let's take a look at this. Wow, if you can see on that screen, at the top of the screen there, spot price for gold right now is $3,900 and spot price for silver is $48.24. These are record highs. Like this is bananas how much silver and gold has gone up in the past year. And a lot of it has to do with the dwindling faith in the US dollar as the reserve currency. But I want you, as my fellow preppers, to think about what we're talking about tonight, AI replacing more and more jobs over time. Eventually, almost all jobs are going to be replaced by AI and automation. There's no more time to delay or procrastinate on your financial preparedness. And silver and gold is just one of those steps that we take for our family to preserve a little bit of wealth for the dark times that I believe are ahead of us. So when I buy my silver and gold, I choose AppMex. Why? Because AppMex has been around for a long time. They're very trustworthy. I've been ordering from them since at least 2009, I believe. That's why I actually reached out to them and asked to partner with them. They didn't contact me. I contacted them and said I was very interested in working with them because I like their brand and I like what they do. I've always gotten exactly what I've ordered, never had a problem. And you couldn't operate an online gold and silver delivery if it wasn't trustworthy, right? So this comes delivered in a discrete package. It's shipped really quickly and you're going to get what you ordered. Okay, so I'm going to roll the banner down the bottom there. And I strongly, strongly encourage you to use my link. I don't get a commission for that. That actually just tells them that I'm getting the word out. They're a sponsor for this video. So I get paid just by telling you about how much I enjoy working with AppMex and why I've chosen them for my silver and gold. In fact, I've got within my eyesight here, I've got 4 packages from AppMex of money that I spent that I'm going to unbox with you. I just haven't had time to do that yet. So we're going to do some unboxings of that stuff in the future. And I think you're going to like what I got. I worked the last sale. Remember I was telling you about that August sale, the 25th anniversary sale. If you missed it, get on their mailing list, folks. I try to get the word out when I know that there's a good deal coming. But the best way to make sure that you're going to be aware of it is also to get on their mailing list. All right. So thank you, AppMex, for sponsoring us and being a partner that I'm very, very proud to work with. All right. As you guys know, the rules for the channel, we always no racism, no sexism here. Please be kind to the moderators. You can disagree with each other. You can disagree with me, but just articulate your point. Explain why you disagree with anything that's being said. And I do have a poll going at the top. Basically, would you watch a movie with an AI actor assuming that the story was good? Would you watch a movie with an AI actor? I want you to go ahead and vote in that, and we'll check that at the very end. All right. let me check your chat real quick, and then we're going to get right into this story and what's happening with this. So Scott was the first one here. Thank you so much, Scott, for always warming up the lobby. Prepper for the Ages was second. Thank you so much. Lazarus Long, thanks for hanging in there with us. I appreciate you. Scott Hummer, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Hope you guys are having a good Friday so far. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Virginia Bushcraft, good to see you. Coffee first, then speak. Rural 2IC, thank you for joining. I think I saw Steve popping in there. Corsair Trainers, thank you so much. Okay, did I miss anybody? Mad Stacker, Screw Hollywood, good to see you. It's good to see you too, Mad Stacker. I hope you're having a good Friday. Orlando Prepper, thank you so much. Appreciate you for coming in. Laura Mannion, how are you tonight? All right, gonna keep rolling down the hill. Bacon, how are you doing? Just gonna say, well, we're gonna talk. There is some pros. There is pros and cons to this, and there is some pros. Like, it's not all cons. I am gonna speak to that later on in this. That you know, from a business standpoint, right? Like, if I was a studio owner, why wouldn't I want to use an AI actress? They're not going to complain. They're not going to show up late. They're not going to throw a tantrum on set. They're not going to have a drug or alcohol addiction problem that I have to deal with. They're not going to have an attitude problem dealing with their fellow co-stars or being mean to the extras. I see you out there, Christian Bale. They're going to work 24/7 nonstop without complaining about, I need a holiday, I need a break, I need a lunch break, right? Like, from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Right. And this is why we're all going to be replaced, because that's how it looks for all businesses, right? You know, Sarge may be a great worker, but Sarge still needs breaks. Sarge still needs to sleep sometimes. Sarge still wants to hang out with his family sometimes. But an AI Sarge will never need any of those things. So I see the appeal for them, even though I don't think it's right. Just seeing if I missed anybody else here popping in. All right, cool. They can, yes, that's another one there too, Rural, is they'll stay the same age. We all know that Hollywood loves a pretty young starlet, right? Let's just call it what it is. And they want a handsome young actor like, oh, who's the guy? He looks like a young Johnny Depp. He's in all the movies now. And Timothée Chalamet is another one, right? Like, these people are going to age, and Botox can slow that down. Plastic surgery can slow that down, and some de-aging technology can slow that down, which, by the way, is also partly AI, which they love. It's weird because these actors love that part of AI, but not the rest of it. So that will slow it down, but eventually these actors do age, and Hollywood loves young starlets and young actors. Sleep is for the weak, Steve says. Got some things to handle. I'll bring up my precious metals concern in a bit. No problem, Bacon. All right, let's. I want to show you what we're talking about here. Thank you, everybody, by the way. All right, marking my spot where I left off. So let's take a look at this Tilly Norwood lady, AI lady. I guess you can't really call her a lady, can you? All right, let's take a look at her. Share screen. Here we go. All right, so this is from Tilly Norwood's official Instagram page. She's already got 53,000 followers. She's doing much better than old Sarge, and I'm a human being. And this has no sound, so I'm going to go ahead and play this one here. This is just, they were showcasing like some of her facial acting in this. So there's no sound if you're wondering, like, why isn't it playing anything? They're just showing like her facial expressions and things like that. All right, so that's Tilly Norwood. Okay, I close that one out. And then this one does have a little sound. You can hear what her AI voice sounds like. They did a little play on the Sydney Sweeney jeans thing, which, by the way, Sydney Sweeney, very attractive young actress. She's very in demand right now, but she too will age.
Genes are normally passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. Not mine. I'm built on everything that came before me. My genes are binary. Genes are normally passed down from parents to offspring.
Obviously the creators of this have a little bit of a twisted sense of humor. All right, let's go. So that you get the idea here, right? The creators of this are claiming that they're already getting studios are contacting them and they want to sign contracts. So she is already going to replace some of your favorite starlets. And Hollywood is losing their minds over this. They're losing their minds. Now, I want to show you a couple other things before I move further on this. I'm not completely against AI, as you guys know. I use it for some things in this channel. I think that AI has a place in our future. I think it can be beneficial to humans. I think we're going to be able to use it to do things in solving problems in physics that we've never been able to figure out. For decades, we've been at a stalemate with quantum physics. I think that they're going to come up with new medical compounds using AI. I think there's a lot of benefits. I think even in my field in mental health therapy, there's going to be some benefits to being able to use it in conjunction with humans. That's how I want to see it used. And so I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to the technology, but I am concerned. The biggest thing that bothers me is people losing their jobs to AI. So let's go ahead and look at a couple other things I want to show you, just to kind of show you some examples of. Now, I can't play these because I'm afraid that these could potentially get me a copyright thing, but I'm going to show you the screen so you guys can look at this later on. All right, so this is a YouTube page called Star Wars Tales Untold. I'm kind of surprised that Disney hasn't copy striked them yet, to be honest. But this is all AI generated. And I watched one of them here. I watched this one down here that I've got my cursor over, Star Wars Obi-Wan Kills Darth Maul. It was really good, guys. I'm going to even go so far as say it was better than The Last Jedi, and it was better than The Acolyte. And it's only a couple minutes long, so you can watch. It's 8 minutes long. I probably will watch the rest of these at some point until Disney forces them to take it down, which I'm really surprised that hasn't happened yet. So this is pretty impressive stuff. If you watch these, like, it's really, in just a couple of years, it's come a long, long way in how good this stuff looks. If it's not restricted, people are going to be able to create their own movies at home, right? And in some cases, it is going to be better than stuff you saw in the theater. I mean, The Last Jedi and The Acolyte just weren't good. Sorry, Star Wars. You got to listen to your fans, and they have fans. There are people who supported those two projects, but the majority of the paying customers said, this is not good. We don't like this. It's not what we want. Listen to your fan base, or they're going to start to do things like this. Okay. So I think this is one thing that could potentially happen here, is that humans are going to have to step up our game. If you want to compete with something like this, humans are going to have to step up our game. Okay. So let me stop that. I want to show you one more. Bear with me here. And again, sorry, I can't play the noise on these. I just really don't want. I think that one's kind of risky as it is, because I think Disney is probably not going to be on board with that for too much longer. This here. Okay. So this is another YouTube page. This is called Velvet Sundown. This is an AI band. The music is produced by AI. And guess what? It's actually really good. It's really good. It sounds like classic rock. Got a little bit of a Greta Van Fleet vibe to it, and so much so that it was actually trending high on Spotify before people realized that this was all AI. So I want you to check that out. Again, I don't want to play it and get myself into some problems here. Go over and check that out. Just see what you think. Now, after I found out it was AI, I felt like, oh wow, it kind of disappoints that that wasn't created by humans. Because it's actually, I'm going to be honest with you, this right here, this Velvet Sundown AI created music is better than most of the pop crap that's on the radio. It really is. You guys know, most of the sugar pop crap on the radio is not talented. It's just, they're using auto tune anyways. Also a little bit AI in that. You're fine to use that auto tune to make your voice stay in pitch, aren't you? But when it comes to something like this, now all of a sudden you're worried, and you should be. All right. So that's Velvet Sundown. Check them out and decide for yourself. All right. So, all right, let me check your comments here before I go on. Yeah, if you, by the way, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. If you could give me a thumbs up. If you don't enjoy what I'm saying and you hate me, give me a thumbs down. Either way, it helps us in the algorithm, so I don't mind. Thank you for sharing your time with me a little bit this Friday night. Hollywood likes variety. Okay. What would Hollywood do without Hollywood drama? That is a great question. What do AI actresses demand in their contracts? That's a good question as well. I'm sure that the studio that has created Tilly Norwood is going to not want her images to be used in inappropriate ways. They're going to decide like what's appropriate and what's not. How do we? Yeah, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible now. It's very, very close to being impossible to tell if videos are AI or not. In fact, there was a. This is 2 years ago. What I'm about to tell you. There was I don't remember the name. A very, very popular content creator here on YouTube. I'm talking. He's got several million followers. I don't remember who it was. Decided to experiment with this, and he created an AI version of himself and uploaded several videos using the AI to narrate and basically use his voice, his image, and act as if it was really him. And his fan base, most of them didn't know. After a couple of videos, a couple people started saying, "Hey, something's weird about this," and then they figured it out. And he said it was a test. I did this. Yes, it's a test. That was 2 years ago. It's so much further advanced than that as it is. How do you know I'm not an AI right now? You don't. It's that good. It's that good. So one thing that I've been trying to do in the last year, if you all notice, is that I'm leaving a little bit more of my mistakes in the videos. I'm not talking about the live streams. I'm always going to have some mistakes on the live streams, but on my my long form videos that I release, I usually have one out a week. I'm leaving some of the sorry about that, my little mistakes in, just because I think there's going to be a place where at least some viewers are going to crave human authenticity. They're going to miss that when it's become scarcer and scarcer. So I'm intentionally leaving some mistakes in my videos now, so it's more authentic. Now, eventually an AI could probably say, well, Sarge uses a lot of ums and ahs in his videos, so if we were going to replicate that, that's what it would do. I mean, eventually this thing it outthinks us, I will look that up offline, Bacon. I'm not going to do a shared screen on that because I think I have an idea where you're going with that. I'm not a fan. I lost my IT. Yeah, a lot of people in IT have already lost their jobs. A lot of people in graphic design have already lost their jobs. Truck drivers, eventually that's going to happen. Cab drivers, Uber drivers. I mean, actually, that's already happening in California, right? They've got those peopleless taxis, and I think Arizona might have them too. I can't remember if they do or not. The peopleless taxis. So it's they're working on AI therapists. They're going to have AI teachers. They're going to have they'll have AI firefighters at some point. They will have the police officers is going to be harder to do. That's going to take longer because the amount of judgment regarding things like when to chase, when to use force, things like that. That's going to be a lot harder. But what you will see is AI and automation supplementing law enforcement, right? So you'll have like robotic dogs, and actually that's already kind of happening, and robotic drones and things like that. So it'll be supplementing law enforcement. I think you will see more use of this stuff in corrections because that's a job that they have a hard time recruiting people for. It's a really hard job, guys. I work with some corrections people in therapy, and they have a really, really hard job. They deserve to be paid so much more than you could possibly imagine for what they put up with. And that's something because of the recruitment issue. They'll probably be using more robotics to help with you. You're still going to need humans in those places, but there'll be more like robot eyes monitoring things. I agree with this, that if it maybe can be used in places where we can prevent danger to people, maybe there's a place for that, right? Like there are some jobs that are extremely dangerous, and maybe there's a place for AI to replace some of those. Stunt doubles is one that surely comes to mind. What about mining, right? Like, I don't want miners to all lose their jobs. I would love to see them be offered something else safer. But mining is a very, very dangerous job. right? Like they're every time they go down there, they're putting their lives at risk. Yeah, I wish. You know they ain't gonna do that, Coffee First. You know they won't do that. They'll just pocket the extra profit. There's no way they pass that on to the consumers. I'm not going for that one. I'm not biting that one, Bacon. Yeah, Max Headroom, that was like back in the 80s, right? And that was like that was like kind of a little glimpse of the future, right? You guys can, if you don't know who that is, you can look that up. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not trying to take over Scott's conversation there, but yeah, there are some jobs that will require AI programming, but a lot of like other type of coding is unfortunately being replaced by AI. Mean, in fact, I've got several friends that this is happening to right now, and they're having to change their careers. One of my friends, who's same age as me, in his 50s, is having to change his career all of a sudden because of this. Yeah, Greta Van Fleet's awesome, man. Check out that Velvet Sundown, man. You're gonna be impressed. It's scary how fast this stuff got good. It really is. I see where you're going there. There is absolutely going to be a place for that. There is absolutely going to be AI actresses being used for adult entertainment. Absolutely, that's going to happen. It's probably already happening. Don't tell me, guys. I don't need you to send me a link. I really don't. Don't send me a link. Uh, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, Bob 942. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. It's how human the humans producing, let alone consuming the content it's producing. Yeah, so I mean, there's a good question there about like what is the long-term psychological impact of this too, right? Like what's the impact of like if I'm start watching only those AI created Star Wars videos and I just give up on Disney because I haven't been satisfied with some of their Star Wars stuff, does that potentially have some impact on my mental health in a way? I don't know. Yeah, the driverless taxis are kind of funny in a way, especially when they start honking their horns and stuff. Yep, yep. Yeah, I want to deal with a person too. I don't like self checkout because that has already stolen somebody's job. I avoid it unless I absolutely have to use it. And you know, some stores they're actually like making it that you almost have to use it now. Yeah, there'll be some. It won't be like RoboCop, at least not in our. I don't think in our lifetime. I think that they'll still need humans to do law enforcement for the foreseeable future. But I think you're going to see some kind of AI companions with them to assist them in certain ways. They won't be able to do certain tasks. Like they're not going to be given a firearm. I don't think, at least not anytime soon. But they could be like eyes and ears and assisting in that way. Yeah, yeah. I understand what you're saying, Steve. My thoughts on it would be that if it gets used in corrections, that it will be in like a monitoring only kind of thing. You know, like almost like having walking cameras instead of just overhead cameras. They'll be like walking cameras. And yes, I understand what you're saying that people will try to damage these and manipulate these, and that will happen. Yes. All right, just scrolling. Hey, Burpee Yoga Uncle. I hope you're having a good Friday. Yeah, this thing's not going away, and here's why. Like everybody can rant and rave all we want on Facebook about they need to stop it. I see friends posting they need to stop AI right now. It's not going to happen, folks. It's not going to happen because too much money's tied into this, and all of these corporations, these big corporations, want it because they see big profits for their pockets. And guess who is Guess who's paying lobby money to the legislators that could possibly stop it? You or I. There's nothing we can do to compete at that level. I'm not saying you give up. I'm not saying you don't vote or anything like that. I'm just saying you need to set realistic beliefs. AI is not going away. Is Sarge an AI? Seems like something an AI would say. Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so Virginia Bushcrafter, my dad rode in one of those taxis and he said it was really weird. Really weird. Nope. We had tons of books and movies warning us that this day was coming. We did. All right. I'm scrolling back down. King Corso, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. No, I'm not AI yet. They haven't replaced me yet. All right, here we go. So if you're just tuning in now, go up to the top of the chat, vote in the poll, because we're going to check that in a couple of minutes here. Let's talk about pros and cons here. So pros, obviously for the studio, it saves money. I don't think that gets passed on to the consumer. I really don't. I think corporate executives are way too greedy to pass that on to the consumer. They intend to put that in their pocket. Here's a pro that I thought of. An AI actress, we potentially won't have to listen to them being preachy about politics, right? So, I think about like people like Robert De Niro, Mark Hamill. I grew up a Star Wars fan. Mark Hamill was like one of my childhood heroes. Now he's just obnoxious. I'm sorry, Mark. George Takei from Star Trek. You guys are just obnoxious now. Like, stop trying to tell everybody how to think. Right. So, I mean, I talk about politics on here, but if you guys notice when I do, I tell you how I think and I say it's okay to disagree with me. These people don't. They don't think it's okay to disagree with them. Who else? Let's say John Cusack, George Clooney, Brie Larson, Rachel Zegler, James Woods even, right? I loved James Woods. I thought he was like one of the coolest badass mofos in Hollywood. And now it's just politics telling you how to think, right? And like, just shut up, dudes. All of you, just shut up, right? Or if you are going to talk about politics, at least don't talk down to people who think different than you, right? So I think I'd be okay with like you going on there and be like, hey, I want to vote for Kamala Harris, or I want to vote for Donald Trump. Cool. All right. You like them because of what policy? Cool. All right, this one's for the environment. This one's for getting us out of wars. This one's probably going to be better for the economy. This one wants universal health care. All right, cool. Interesting talking points. But that's not what they're doing. They talk down and berate and are smug and condescending to the people who are your fans. And I don't like that. So I see it as a major pro that I wouldn't have to listen to Tilly Norwood tell me how to think and how to vote and be condescending and smug to me. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching this afterwards, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know in the chat. I see that as a major pro, actually. Cons. I do think that there's a part of art that's about connecting, right? Like we connect with characters. I've told you many times that Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of my favorite characters and the reasons why he's one of my favorite characters. We connect with the characters, even though they're fictional, because there's something in them that we relate to, right? There's something in them that we say, I see me, or I see a loved one in that character, right? Think about the performance of somebody like Heath Ledger when he played the Joker in Batman. Could that be replicated with AI? Maybe, but that we don't have the human connection to that then, right? That is concerning. That's a big concern. So Hollywood, when they responded to all this, is saying the arts and performance should never be replaced with something artificial. Okay, I see your point, but why are you limiting it to just that? You all love to preach. You love to get on your soapboxes. I hope somebody shares this out with some Hollywood people and that some of them actually watch it. I know that's not going to happen because they're too good and above me to actually watch this video. But you love to preach, you love to have your soapboxes. Why not use your platform for something good for once that benefits everybody and say we are against AI replacing jobs, not just actors, not just art, not just performance. We are against AI replacing jobs. Why not do something good with this that benefits everybody? But you can't, can you? Because you're just so self-centered and you're so smug and you're so self-absorbed that you didn't even notice that 11,000 people were fired from Microsoft this summer and replaced by AI. Did you? Did any of you actors that are suddenly having a rage tantrum on Twitter about this now, did any of you post anything about how that was wrong? I know the answer to that already. What would I like to see? I would like to see Hollywood become less self-serving. I would like to see Hollywood take advantage of this and use their platforms to do something good with this for everybody. I would like to see them, if they're going to be soapboxy and preachy, then do it with this, but for everybody, not just we can't be replaced. We're too important. And that's how it's coming across. As usual, smug and condescending, right? And that's why people aren't really rallying around this 100%. I see a lot of comments on these where people are like, screw them, screw these Hollywood elite people, because that's how you treat people you think you're elite and you look down on them. And of course, I know not everybody in Hollywood is like this. I named some of the names that I think of, right? I can go through that list again. Robert De Niro, John Cusack, George Clooney, Brie Larson, James Woods, Mark Hamill, Rachel Zegler, George Takei, right? There's probably other ones that you all can think of. Those are the ones that I thought of before I went live. All right. I want you last chance to go vote in the poll. Go do that right now. I'm going to check your chat, please. Go do that right now, and please. And I'm going to check your chat one more time, and then I'm going to end with something positive because we like to end with something positive here. All right. Yeah. So thank you, Kane Corso. I saw you pop in. The poll should be at the very top of chat, I think. And the poll, basically, the poll was, would you watch a movie with an AI actor if you knew the story was good? Do you realize well, yeah. And George Takei used to be really funny. He had some really funny, like, innuendo type humor. I used to love going to his Facebook page to see like his latest little joke, and now he just seems miserable and bitter and hates everybody that doesn't think anybody like him. Steph replies, "Take my money." Hey Tibor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Oh, Ruffalo, yeah, Ruffalo. Yeah. By the way, so let me just add one more little thing since you said Mark Ruffalo. Let me start so I don't lose my place. I can see beyond this stuff, right? Like, so I still like Mark Hamill, even though I don't like how he acts. I can still enjoy Robert De Niro in Goodfellas, even though I don't like who he is on Twitter. I wouldn't want to ever hang out with him. Not that he would ever want to hang out with me either. I still like Star Trek. I still like some of James Woods' movies. I still like George Clooney in some stuff, right? But I don't like how they treat people that don't think exactly like them, right? So Mark Ruffalo, since you brought him up, there's a show on HBO right now called Task. It's about a kind of a burned out FBI agent, and I'm loving it right now. He's fantastic in the role. But he's another one that gets a little bit too, if you don't think like me, then you're a problem. And no, your thinking is the problem. Dub Season, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Yep, and a lot of people feel that way. I'm willing to say that for me personally, if you want to talk about it, that's fine, but I would appreciate it if you'd be respectful of everybody who doesn't think exactly like you, and that's the problem. Yeah, you all right. You all, Laura, man, you all are right. You all are right. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, it couldn't happen to a greater bunch of people. GG's Garden, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. And some people are saying that too. Like, it's not that different from animation. So I mean, I agree with Kane Corso. I agree with some of what he says. I agree with some of what all these people say. Some parts of what they say. Each of them, I think, has like some parts where I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what they're saying there. The problem I've got is that they don't have respect for anybody else that thinks different from them, right? So like, I'm sure that I could find some common ground with Mark Hamill about like, hey, I agree with him about this. I'm sure that I could. I'm sure that even Brie Larson and Rachel Zegler, I could probably find something that I agree with them on. But I don't like how you treat everybody who doesn't think exactly like you. That's my issue with it. All right, let's go ahead and check the poll here, and then I'm going to end with something positive because that's what we do here. All right, bear with me just a second. Interesting. I did not expect that. Okay. So the answer to the poll, would you watch a movie with an AI actor assuming the story is good? 50%, 57% of you said yes. 43% of you said no. Almost 50-50, right? A little bit more edging towards yes. I'll be honest, I thought most people were going to be on no on that one. So very, very interesting. The answer for me, I didn't vote in that, but the answer for me is yeah, if the story is good. In fact, I've watched movies that were entirely AI generated. If the story is good, that's what matters most to me. But I don't want to see even people I don't like, I don't want to see them lose their job. I don't want to see anybody lose their job. This is a moment that could be a great moment for humans, but we all are compartmentalized, right? In fact, let's go ahead and end with our positive note here. Before I finish this off, I want to say thank you again for joining me tonight. If you're watching this on replay, thank you so much. If you're able to turn on the live chat, there's a lot of good conversation there, and I think that you're missing out on some of this if you don't check out the chat as well. But I appreciate that you give me a little bit of your Friday. You could be doing anything, and the fact that you share a little bit with me means the world. If you got anything of value out of this, even if I just entertained you for just a little bit, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Hey, if you hate me, it's okay. I understand. Give me a thumbs down. That still helps me in the algorithm, so I always appreciate that you gave me a little bit of your time. Anyways, don't forget to check in the description down below for some products and discount codes that I think you'll like, products that will help us in the preparedness journey. Folks, we got a difficult road ahead of us. If we hit 30% unemployment in this country, it is going to look like the Great Depression, but more violent. That's my prediction. More violent because people are a lot more willing to use violence to solve their problems than they were in the 1930s. That's why I think this is important to preppers. Whether or not I like some of these actors, irrelevant. I don't want to see anybody lose their job. This is my personal thoughts. Okay. Here's the positive part, though. Still not too late. Still not too late. We can use AI in ways that are beneficial for humans, that will lift us up in medicine and sciences, that will probably save lives, and not destroy jobs, not destroy human creativity, not take humans out of performance art, and hopefully ushers us into a whole new level of humanity, right? Maybe this is something that can help us even solve some problems that cause wars, like famine and access to resources and things like that. A lot of wars are caused by access to energy, right? Needing oil, things like that, right? And so maybe there's opportunities even there that like we can use AI to help us figure out different solutions to some of this stuff. I think overall the potential for it is huge. I want to see AI succeed, but I want to see it succeed in collaboration with humans, not replacing humans. Okay. Last little bit here. Humans are very resilient, folks. We have survived crazy things that we went through this a couple weeks ago in one of the other streams, just different parts of human history where the human population was reduced to really, really low numbers, in some cases less than 1 million people. And somehow we survive, we adapt, and we bounce back. We will survive this too, but we probably, in my opinion, are going to be looking at some really challenging times in the next few years as this becomes more and more prevalent. So we got to look out for each other. We got to get your financial preparedness going if you haven't already. There's no more time to procrastinate on that piece, in my opinion. All right. Folks, take good care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your family. And keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking that silver. This is Prepping with Sarge. Have a good night, everybody.